Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about the things that I lost interest in my 30s. I want to give you a short little introduction. My name is Matt Winnick. I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm in my upper 30s, and I've had a lot of challenges with my disability, which is autism, including learning disability, along with a cognitive disability. And I've gone through a lot of life changes in my life from the past, including currently. Um, the struggles I have with my disability is I struggle on comprehending, learning different advanced subjects at a certain pace. Sometimes it's hard for me to communicate my thoughts in different social settings or in environmental settings. It's hard for me to understand conversations or when people use highly advanced vocabulary words or even people talk to me about medical stuff through doctors or dentists. I have difficulty comprehending on these materials, and I get teased. Um, First, I want to say that in my upper 30s, I started to lose interest in friendships and in people a lot. The reason why I have lost interest in these is because for a very long time, and currently, I've always been bullied, being teased by some of my friends, people I know, and people in general, and people who I work with make fun of me for struggling with disability, say anti-disability remarks. Sometimes they spit at me and use swear words or vulgar language as a way to put me down. I've had a lot of times where I've dealt where I was being bullied a lot, and some of my friends wouldn't stick up for me, and they blame me for the unhappiness and tell me that myself with a disability makes them look bad. And also, for a very long time, including currently, I've always been feeling guilty, ashamed, and depressed about myself. Having challenges with my disability and coping with the hardships of being disabled in a society where people are highly addicted to bigotry and hate and like to um, make fun of me for being different or put me down. And so it's very hard a lot too because I'm a type of person who really has compassion for people who struggle in life, whether it's through poverty or through other life challenges. I've always tried my best to be a good listener to the people who I care about, even though it's hard for me to communicate my thoughts or to understand people sometimes. And I always try to be emotional support for the people that struggle. Like I try to give them good thoughts or positive vibes, or try my hardest to try to try to find a way where I can easily communicate my good intentions, even though it gets rejected by people in general. And it's hard. One thing I like to do a lot is volunteer, where I volunteer in my own community, where I provide grocery bags filled with canned goods, including essential items to help feed the poor, disadvantaged, disabled, people who struggle with debt or other things as a way for me to continue my kindness, compassion, and working critical thinking skills and understanding of people. And so I like doing the volunteering a lot. It helps me out, teaches me about how to be a human being who struggles with a disability but wants to do good things for society. Even if I deal with getting bullied, teased, or being spit at, or being made fun of for being disabled, or people using vulgar or swear words by some of my friends, people in general, adults, highly educated people, people I work with, or sometimes other people in general. Um, another reason why I kind of lost interest in friendship was I didn't like dealing where people would blame me for the unhappiness, even though I tried my best to be a good friend. And whenever I dealt with hard times, whether it's dealing with depression or uncertainty, or if I expressed concerns, I would always get rejected by them when people tell me you're Debbie Downer, we don't want to listen to you, but they want me to listen to them when they have challenges. And 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 that. Another thing that I've lost interest is watching modern crime drama shows a lot because there has been a lot of modern crime drama shows where they like to stereotype people with mental health, people with disabilities, including people with autism spectrum as violent criminals or as bad people. And this seeing these type of things and the way that the modern crime drama shows stereotype these things makes me uncomfortable because as myself with a disability, I deal with a lot of hate, a lot of bigotry. I deal with people like to say really disgusting and mean things and making bad stereotypical things about people with disabilities, people with autism spectrum like me, being bad or awkward or like that. And so I've kind of been losing very heavily interest in these modern crime drama shows. It's like I said, I'm not here to criticize actors and actresses who are in these shows because it's just acting, and I think they're doing a good job in acting. It's just my concern is the writers, the people who produce these modern crime drama shows are the ones that make me very uncomfortable. And so um, I've lost a huge interest in modern crime drama shows, and I like to watch shows like cartoons, comedy, soap operas. I like to watch the old crime drama shows like Charlie's Angels, Quincy, um, Man X, and Heart to Heart, and Monk and Psych, um, as a way for me to really enjoy these shows because I really like how a lot of these shows that I watch, they don't stereotype people with disabilities or people with autism spectrum or people with mental health as bad people. They make characters very unique with different characteristics, whether it's working hard to improve themselves when they face different challenges or navigating life or being creative on how they do things. So I like to focus on a lot of these shows that I watch. And also, I'm just a fan of watching like reruns of old TV shows in general. A third thing is I have lost a huge interest is social media. Um, because for a very long time, social media platforms like Meta and Instagram and many other platforms have become very, very too hard a lot, very, very uncomfortable, very repetitive. And I've had experiences where I've dealt with being cyberbullied on these platforms. I've dealt where people have manipulated a picture of me to something that is inappropriate, where it's spread um, as bad rumors to other people. I've dealt with getting a lot of hateful messages. I've dealt a lot of hard times where other people who I'm connected with like to post a lot of things and like to put me down, like to compare themselves to me, like, oh, I'm better than you because I'm have more friends, or just because I get more likes than you, I'm better than you, or for example, if they're like married or something like that, or if they're in a relationship, like to rub me in the face, tell me that I'm a bad person just because I can't have a girlfriend or I can't have a partner. And it's very challenging because, there's days in society that everybody needs social media as a way to connect. And sometimes I don't feel comfortable doing social media and connecting with other people because there's times that I can easily get bullied, being put down, and sometimes people like to ghost me on these platforms, whether they message me or if I message them back. And so um, all I can simply just do in this situation is just to have my social media accounts, but don't use it too much. I put myself on a time limit about how much I use on these platforms. And I try to be very careful what I post. Like post a picture of me. I try to be very careful limiting how much I post an image of me just to protect myself from being having my picture manipulated or people use as bad rumors where I put an object or something. And so but it's a hard transition to try not to use social media a lot because there's so many people that don't want to do email, phone, or text anymore, even though I try my best to explain that I'm very uncomfortable using social media platforms and that is much better to do like email, text, phone, or WhatsApp as a form of communication. I wish that a lot of people would be very understanding and compassionate on people like me who are very concerned about using social media platforms, and to be understanding that they should accept people to communicate with email, phone, text, and WhatsApp as a better way for communication. The third thing, I mean, I wouldn't say third thing, the fourth thing that I have lost very interest is dating or even connecting with a girl. I've had a lot of challenges in my life where um, I had dealt where some women, including some girls, were kind of flirt with me or supposedly flirt with me, but also they would kind of be like, hey, I want to get your phone number. I want to connect with you on social media. I want to hang out with you. I want to grab coffee. I want to do stuff. And then in my mind, I was thinking, oh, this seems cool. Like a girl wants to do stuff. But as I started to progress, it became much harder too. I dealt with a lot of hard rejections, and where some girls would make fun of me for being disabled. They spit at me and sometimes say mean things. They would spread bad rumors of about me to other peers of their friends or to other people. I've had experiences where when a girl hangs out with me, she brings peers of her friends where they bully me and she joins them in, where I get teased a lot, and it's very hard. And so and I've had a lot of hard times too, where in situations where it is very easy to be mislabeled as as a bad person just because I struggle with communication skills. Sometimes I don't know how to communicate my thoughts. Sometimes there's miscommunication, and it's hard for me to communicate my good intentions. So I've dealt with a lot of this for a very long time, and in this day and age, it's very easy to be mislabeled or people usually spread bad rumors that aren't true, including men with disabilities, men with struggles with health, or men, or especially people with disabilities like me. And so it's not very easy to avoid women, including girls, a lot because in a society I live where there's men and women in society, and I have to learn how to navigate as best I can. But it's very challenging because I deal with women, including men. They make fun of me for being a man with a disability and say a lot of other mean things. Even though I'm straight and I have some interest in women, including girls. And so the only thing that I can do is basically have good intentions for women, including girls. I always try my best to be compassionate, understanding, a good listener. I try to my best to have good conversations, like ask them like, how are you doing? And try to pay attention to what they say. Maybe if they want to talk about a topic, about a movie, or maybe they went on vacation, I try my best to process the information what they're saying so I can try my hardest to communicate better. And even if they're dealing with hard times, I always try my hardest to be a good listener, try and do approach where I try to be like, I'm sorry that you're going through this. And so I say, all I can do is send you good thoughts and positive vibes, and that's it. And so, um, and that's challenging too. Also, another thing too that I mentioned is I had tried to do online dating once, but it didn't work out because this person pretended to be the same age as me, but it turns out they're much older, and it got very awkward. And so I don't do online dating, and so as a way to protect myself. And so, well, another thing that I have also lost interest in my 30s is going out to eat a lot. As somebody with my autism spectrum and someone who has struggles with stomach issues, like my stomach gets sick from food, I've always had a lot of challenges on eating meals in restaurants a lot, where sometimes I try to ask for modifications on my food, like mods on my food, but sometimes I get yelled at or teased by people in the restaurant, sometimes other customers or other staff members, and it's a challenge too. And also with going out to eat, it's very expensive. Sometimes I can't afford to pay like $20 for a meal or $30 for a fancy meal. And so, um, and that's a big challenge for me. So what I try to do is I try to be creative on spending smart and saving smart. Like I try to look for appetizers um, at some restaurants. Sometimes look for lunch prices if I can get myself a lunch. I mostly focus on doing takeout as a way for me to be able to take some food home and just eat it at home, because sometimes I deal with anxious about places being crowded, people being noisy, people being mean, or people being impatient, or other staff members working in restaurants would get impatient with me. And and also to help me reduce from being stressed out and trying to communicate my thoughts in these type of settings where it is challenging. And that also, I like to try to do is be creative on learning how to cook on my own. Like I like to look up YouTube videos or just be creative on just cooking as a way for me to learn stuff. And that another thing that I've lost interest is politics. I'm a person that never liked politics because politics is always part of life, not just only national, but local, but also trying to survive in society on being disabled. We deal with hateful rhetoric, or like, for example, trying to survive in the food service industry job where it's highly political, where people like to rub me in the face just because I struggle doing a task at a fast-paced environment, or if other workers or sometimes maybe a boss might make fun of me for being disabled, and that's pretty hard. And so, and also the reason why I lost interest in politics mostly it's because we have too many times where many public officials from both political parties, including members of our judicial system, are very anti-disability. They don't want to protect the environment. They don't care about social justice causes. They like to side with a lot of these people who like to say hateful and controversial things about minorities, women, people with disabilities, people with different sexual orientations, or very anti wanting to help improve our communities through social justice, and don't want to help the poor or disadvantaged or the disabled. So I don't like politics because it really does a lot of damage. And there's days that I really do wish that we could have more people who can do good things in the political system. Wish we had more people who are members of our judicial system, or people who are public officials that can advocate for social justice, civil rights, including the rights of the disabled, criminal justice reform, and other good policies like universal health care, reducing corruption in government. I wish we had more of these people, but um, I kind of been staying away, trying to limit how much I listen to politics a lot. I try to take breaks a lot. I try to look up history instead as a way for me to cope with the challenges of listening to the bad politics that's in the media today, or our current president, the T word. I don't want to say his full name, but just like that. And so when I listen to many political parties that want to destroy the rights of the disabled, and so that's a very big concern. And so um, so when I learn history, I like to learn all about famous people who are very innovators, who wanted to work to improve society, whether through social justice, reducing poverty, helping the disabled, advocate for human rights, advancing science to help mankind, or to improve the world, or people want to protect the environment. So I like learning about these different famous people that want to do good. And so um, and that's basically about it. About my thoughts about things that I lose interest in my 30s, the reason why, and the hard challenges of being disabled in a society that is broken, that's filled with bigotry, including hate, or division, where people like to use anti-disability stigma, or like to use other bullying things to make me feel uncomfortable and upset myself. But at the same time, I'm trying to understand myself as a human being who is disabled but wants to do good things, or trying to navigate a society that is broken.